Saturday. Is it the 11th? Pearl's with me. Maisie's still upstairs. Pearl's examining her yard. Yesterday was not her favorite day. It rained all day and she's smart enough to know that that thunder stuff comes when it's raining. I'm sorry, I'm trying to fix you. But it's beautiful, clear skies now. I'm Barbara. Welcome. I didn't say welcome enough. Thank you so much for joining me. Okay, so good news is I slept pretty well last night. I had a very bad night the night before, so I was tired. Oh, the other good news is I can cross my legs. The bad news is I screwed up my knees somehow, and I didn't do anything. It wasn't my fault. I didn't do anything. Yesterday I was taking the garbage out. I did a few chores. Nothing strenuous, trust me. Never anything strenuous. I was taking the garbage out, and the garbage is in the garage. So I had to go down 2 steps into the garage. And I was going down these 2 steps into the garage, and I could feel, it felt like my knees started clicking. You know, you could almost hear it. You kind of hear it. I don't know if I was hearing it in my body or I was actually hearing it through the sound waves of the air. But this kind of clicking, like all of a sudden the parts of my knee were no longer, you know, exactly aligned as they should be. And so there was this sort of clicking, and it didn't hurt. I came in, I said, oh, my knee started clicking. That's really weird. And then, I don't know how long later, I get out of my chair. And I start walking, and I have an excruciating pain in my right knee when I'm walking that I yell. And I'm not a yeller, and I'm like gasping, and if the tears were quicker, I'd be crying. That's how painful it was. And I, you know, couldn't move. I couldn't move. I couldn't walk. I couldn't walk on that knee, that leg. So I'm like standing there trying to put my foot down. Can't put my foot down because it hurts. For like 30 seconds, something like that. And then, you know, it didn't hurt quite so much, so I could like limp and hobble back to where I could sit down, and it didn't hurt when I was sitting down. It doesn't ache. And, you know, anyway. So every once in a while, my knee hurts so much I can't walk. Since then. Now I had a long period, hours, where nothing. I could walk normally. It was perfectly fine. It was perfectly fine. And then I get up and I'm walking, and all of a sudden, excruciating pain. So it feels like, I mean, it's like this weird situation where, you know, like I knocked a big hunk of something out of my knee, and every once in a while it moves into a bad spot and it really hurts. But otherwise it stays kind of where it's supposed to be, and it's fine. I'm sure that's not what happened, but that's what it feels like. And of course it's Saturday. Not that I have it. I don't even have, is that an orthopedist? You know, I don't even know. Who do you see when your knee suddenly stops functioning? So anyway, it was just every once in a while. It happened like 3 times yesterday in the course of the afternoon and evening. And it happened right before I was going to bed. So Dennis dug out a knee brace, like an Ace knee brace kind of thing. I can show you, because I'm wearing it. Not that it's helping me that much. But I'm wearing this knee brace. And if nothing else, it's reminding me to keep my legs straight, you know. And I thought, oh, this is working better, you know, and then as I was carrying my phone out to call you, I was just going to say to talk to you guys, it happened again. So, I don't know. Maybe the knee brace is going to... I can't get this right. I can't move my chair. So I'm really annoyed with my knee right now, and it doesn't seem to care. But the weird thing, luckily, is it doesn't hurt until I try to walk on it, you know, one way, apparently. And I don't know what that way is yet. But, you know, sitting here, it doesn't hurt at all. You wouldn't know there's a thing wrong with it, except it's got a knee brace on top of it. So, I mean, yeah, it could be worse. Could be a lot worse. I could be in pain the whole time. I don't even know. I have friends who have bad knees. I did not want to be one of them. But last week, I don't even remember if I told you this. I think I forgot to tell you this, but I'm not sure. Dennis, maybe I did. Dennis woke up and his leg, he had a horrible pain in one of his legs. And he had been perfectly fine at like 5 o'clock in the morning, and then when he gets up at 9 o'clock, he can't even walk. I mean, I have a hiking stick I can use as a cane because we had already gotten it out for Dennis last week, and of course we never put anything away. He couldn't walk on his leg. I mean, it was weird, but it was his whole leg. It was the muscle. Well, he didn't think it was a muscle thing, like a ligament thing, or I don't even know. But he had excruciating pain in his leg last week. And so we're sitting there talking about it. I said, you know, my knee's kind of hurting me, and I don't know what that's about. And I don't even recall what kind of pain it was, but it's the same knee. And I noticed at that time that my knee was a little more, my left knee was a little swollen, which I couldn't explain. But then it went away. Apparently it was working up to something bigger. Oh, lordy loo. Alright, that's it. I don't have my glasses on, but I can already tell I've been talking about this way too long. I finished my fronts. My whole sweater body is up in my guest room, all laid out, drying. I re-blocked the back too, and so I laid them out. I laid them side by side so that they match size-wise. Looks like it's gonna fit together. The only thing I'm worried about is the sleeve, because it's easy to make this armhole of the front match the armhole of the back, because you can hold it up and say, okay, but the sleeve is such a funny, you know, the shape of the sleeve, it's not so obvious whether it's gonna fit or not. You really kind of have to trust the pattern and such. Probably have to go and measure the pieces. And now that they're blocking, and measure the length of that armhole, and then make sure on the pattern which size, use that length, and then see what length the corresponding size of the sleeve is. Make that size sleeve, just to be sure, because it's, you know, it's by length, you know, 7 inches from here or 5 inches from there, you know. And how accurate was I? Probably not so. So I was trying to, you know, I was saying I don't think I'm going to put the stitches on the sleeve, and then Lizzie suggested, why don't you just put a little around the cuff? And I thought, oh, that's a good idea, except I had already done 6 rows of stockinette, but I decided what the heck, and so I put some in. So I put one little patch from here to here, I don't know if you can tell, of the stitch pattern on the bottom of the sleeve. And I'm looking at the sleeve and I'm thinking, oh, I don't know, that's so puffy, and then I remembered, well, actually it's not that puffy, you know, it goes around like this, it's not going to be puffy. But I'm knitting them flat so they look really big. But it's not going to be really big. It's not going to be puffy. It's just going to have a little stitch pattern down there. So this is how far I am on my sleeves. So I'm perking right along. And, you know, until I really literally worry about whether or not I'm doing the top the right height. It's, you know, fun knitting back and forth. Increase, you know, 1 stitch, 2 stitches every 10 rows. Leslie had a viewer ask about, when you don't get row gauge, what do you do? And she said, oh, well, I do calculation. If it says every 10 stitches, every 10 rows, do something. And I, you know, and I was thinking, oh, I never do that. I never get row gauge. I don't even check. I don't even check row gauge. I do not do a pattern that I have to get row gauge. And you know, so I don't do patterns. That's why I was so worried about the sea salt sweater. Because it starts with the sleeve and goes up here and goes across and goes down to the other sleeve. Then you pick up the stitches and you knit down. Well, that going across thing, I was on my own, baby. I was counting, I was measuring and saying, okay, this is the middle. So now I have to do this many rows, you know, because row gauge, I never get row gauge. So when I was listening to her, I was thinking, gee, you know, I do not worry about row gauge, and I do not adjust anything for a bad row gauge other than something that so obviously needs row gauge. In other words, I'm increasing going up my sleeve, but my row gauge is wrong. I'm increasing in the wrong places because my row gauge doesn't match the gauge, and I literally don't know. I think my rows are always smaller. Like they say you should have 28 rows and I get 32 rows, something like that. So my rows are always smaller. So as I'm going along and I'm doing 10 rows and I'm doing an increase, my increase is coming sooner because my rows are shorter. So I don't adjust it and say, okay, my row gauge is off, so I'm going to do an increase every 11 rows instead of every 10 rows. I just do whatever the pattern says. It hadn't even occurred to me till she said that, to tell you the truth. So I'm doing it every 10 rows, and it's probably, and my row gauge is probably, and I'm quite sure my rows are always smaller than the gauge swatch. And if you're getting gauge for your stitch length, you know, like 20 stitches by 23 rows, and you're getting 20 stitches by 26 rows, how do you fix that? How do you fix that row gauge without screwing up your stitch count, your stitch gauge? I don't know. Do you know? Oh, maybe there is a way. I always assumed there was no way to do that, because if I go up a needle size, my stitch count goes screwy. Like, I don't even know why I'm talking about this, because my gauge swatches are such big fat liars anyway. Anyway, that struck me, that conversation she was having, because I never thought about that. But I'm doing what the pattern says. I'm increasing every 10 rows. And just going back and forth and, you know, putting a pin wherever I'm doing my increases. And I had to last night, I did something I don't usually do, but I'm remembering it now telling you this. But I usually would I'm right where I need to do an increase row. And normally I would do that increase row and put the pin in there so I didn't have to. So I could just pick up and start knitting, because I have a tendency to just pick up and start knitting and then look and say, where am I anyway? You know, and then I will have gone past where I should have done my increase. Not that that's a big deal, because it's not. Because I'm doing them 2 at a time. So they're going to match no matter what. Well, presumably. But anyway, I have to do an increase the next row. I'm right around where I need to do an increase. I'm not that, you know, if it's 11, if it's whatever, I don't care. You just need to make sure you have the right number of increases. But I say, you know, I'm doing them 2 at a time, so they're going to match well. I start watching my show and I go back and forth, and then I forget which direction I was going. And so I do, you know, the knitting on one sleeve back and forth, and then go to the other sleeve, and then, you know, and like I've done this by accident. So last night I had to, go back and say, oh, wait a minute. You know, I was off by 4 rows or however many, you know, maybe I did it twice, I'm not sure. And luckily, and it wouldn't have mattered except that I was doing the pattern. But I wouldn't have noticed except I was doing the pattern. So it was a good thing I was doing the pattern, because then I'm like, you know, so I had to go back and forth across one of the pieces a couple extra times to catch it up. So the fact that I'm doing it 2 at a time, you know, and I'm saying, oh, and so they're going to match is, you know, maybe not. I have to keep checking. I was a little concerned that I might have done that on the fronts too, and but they both look like they're gonna fit, so I'm not. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I guess I'm gonna make my band around my collar about 1 inch. So I need to find buttons that will look good on 1 inch wide collar button band. Maybe 1.5 inches. I mean, I don't want it to come up too high on the neck. So, and I need to look at my sweater. I did one other cardigan. The Monte Rosa is kind of a crew neck cardigan. I want to look at how the band around the neck meets the button band, and you know, what does that corner look like? Is it like, do I do the band on the neck all the way around and then pick up? Anyway, I'm gonna take a look at a few patterns and see, because the pattern that I'm doing, the cardigan is a V-neck, so they do not address that issue. But I have other cardigans where they have addressed that issue, and I will look and see what they have done and decide what I want to do. So a few things to think about, which is not a bad thing. I'm ready. I'm fine. I'm fine thinking about my knitting at the moment, so that's good. But I am coming down to the finish line eventually soon. Of course, then I have to sew it together. And obviously there's no big rush to do that because summertime. Although if I'm ever going to do another podcast, I'm going to need a finished object. Well, I don't have to have a finished object, but I've been monogamous pretty much on this sweater. I mean, that's a short podcast. That's shorter than these. I'm really bummed about my knee, though, I have to say. So I will not be doing a lot of much. Oh, well, I'll be doing a lot of sitting. Luckily, it doesn't hurt when I sit. And apparently it didn't hurt me at all last night because I was able to fall asleep and I slept. So that's a good thing. And I'm going to keep this brace on for a little while to see if I feel like it's actually helping. Stop it from, you know, the parts getting out of alignment. I can feel the parts in my knee when I'm walking with it, when it doesn't hurt, in a way that I don't when I don't have the brace on. I don't know if that makes any sense. So if the brace doesn't stop it from getting in that position that is excruciating, I'm not going to wear the brace. I don't know why. It makes me wonder if it's, you know, if it's not going to stop the pain. It is reminding me to maybe not bend my leg, but I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. I will give you an update tomorrow. So we shall see. I don't know how the dog walking is going to go today. Dennis might have to take the girls by himself, which is not his favorite thing because they're a handful. But I cannot see myself going for a walk, I'll tell you that. I had some ideas I was going to clean. Oh, we're doing our taxes today. We did organize our papers yesterday. Got our papers all organized, and today we're doing our taxes. That's our plan, and my knee should not interfere with that in any way. So that will be good. We will do our taxes. I did not get the table cleared off though. I cleaned the bathroom. Does that count? We are going to have to make some room on that table. That's not all my stuff. It's both of us. Things collect. Once they're collected, then we eat our dinner in our chairs while we're talking to each other. You know, we need TV trays. like the 50s and the 60s. The 60s, I guess, was the decade of the TV tray. Everybody sat with their TV dinner on their TV tray watching their TV. So we'll do our taxes. I'm really hoping we get money back. Really hoping. So that's all the news. So the knee is a big bummer. I'm so disappointed in it. But other than that, I'm fine. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling, you know, like, and I slept, and that's good. I have knitting to do. When I'm finished with my sleeves, which I won't be today, I'm sure. I'm ready to start my fable in that beautiful pink joy color from the Crafty Toads. That will be my last summer sweater. I haven't even been wearing my summer sweaters. Oh, the party's been canceled. The graduation party for our friend's son was canceled. They decided to cancel it. COVID is coming back with a vengeance. So many places, including in Pennsylvania, and they just decided that they didn't want to risk it. And so it was going to be next Saturday. So I told Dennis, I'm wearing my jumpsuit anyway. I haven't worn my jumpsuit yet. Except for you guys once. I'm just going to start wearing my clothes. I'm wearing my dress now because I thought I can't put any pants on, you know, to bend my knee. And, you know, I'm like, I'm wearing my dress. My other dress is in the laundry. I'm going to ask Dennis to do a load of laundry. We could hang it out. I could hobble over there and help him. But today would be a good day to have some clothes out on the line. Bummer. Such a bummer. Okay, well, I'm going to stop complaining and I'm going to stop feeling sorry for myself because I'm sitting here perfectly comfortable. I'll be able to sit in my chair perfectly comfortable. It's going to be a hot one again today, so I don't know how much time I'm going to spend out here, especially since it's, you know, a big production to come in and out. But that would be a shame if I don't go outside at all because I can't walk. But it's weird, if I stand there for like 30 seconds and I keep testing and then finally I could like step on my toe and finish coming out here because I was on my own. Dennis is still in bed. I'm standing here like, okay, now I'm in the middle of, you know, nowhere here. I'm like in the mudroom. I can't be in the mudroom because I can't walk one way or the other. And I cannot hop on one foot. And that's what it would take. We don't have crutches. All right, well, keep your fingers crossed for my knee, guys. And, and I'm tired of hearing myself talk about it, and I'm sure you're tired of it anyway. Half an hour talking about my knee, I think. I don't have my glasses on, and I wasn't going back for them. So anyway, I am going to be doing my taxes and working on my sweater and healing my knee. That's my plan for today. And I hope you have a good day. And I hope you're well. Stay safe. Stay safe. Things are getting crazy in the United States. We're like the poster child for how to not do it. I'm afraid. For how to not do it. Everything, our government totally mishandled it from day one. And we are paying the price. We are paying the price. Some of you have governments that were really on top of things and did the right thing, and congratulations. Congratulations. As in many, many things, don't do what we do. And my advice to many countries is don't do what we say either, because, you know, we're not very good at figuring things out. We think we are. We think we're the best. We're not. We're not the best. There are many, 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 many things we're not the best. In fact, there are only a few, and some of them are not very, nobody wants to be the best at. Do not follow our lead. I'm just warning you now. Oh, I hope you're safe. I hope you're well. I will see you tomorrow, and I will give you an update on my knee, and I won't whine about it so much. I'm so sorry. So it's such a whiny video. I wonder if I should do another one instead. But I don't want to. So you're getting this one, and I'm sorry. I hope you fast forwarded through all the whiny parts. Please be careful. Please stay safe. And I will see you tomorrow. Stay safe and stay sane.